What is up, you guys? It is me, SEC. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to share with y'all today's video. I have been given the opportunity to take the next step in my missionary journey, and that includes going through the Church of God World Missions Global Missions Training Phase 1. It was a week intensive in Brunswick, Georgia, and we went in depth, and it was a wonderful experience. So each day I kind of shared what I wore as well as what we ate and kind of the takeaway the Lord was giving me. So this not only is hopefully helpful to you if you are interested in following along with this journey or if you're interested in missions yourself, but it is also going to serve as a reminder for me to look onto for years to come. So I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, let's get on the video. Woo! It is almost game time. I am feeling very nervous and excited and just a little bit of everything. So here is the fit. But I am ready to go, and let's just see what the Lord's got in store for this week. Night 1 is officially in the books for GMT training. It was very good. I was nervous going in just because me and new people and situations, just it's always a bit intense, but the Lord placed me at in an area where I got to meet some lovely, wonderful people that it was a really good time. And so I'm very hopeful for the rest of the week. The cool thing is they are breaking it up by areas. So tonight we focused on the Caribbean. For supper we had Caribbean food, which was a fun little surprise, and they had little fun facts on the table, and it was really good. We had jerk chicken, pineapple salsa, Caribbean coleslaw, and this Caribbean trifle, and it was all really good. The coleslaw was actually pretty spicy, which I was just not expecting. It had jalapenos in it, minced in there, so that was a fun little kick when you got to it. But then we learned more about kind of the logistics and just orientation for today, and at the end we prayed over different countries in the Caribbean, and they gave us little cards about certain ones, and then we prayed for each of them and things like that. So I'm very excited, and I'll see you guys for day 2 of training. Happy Tuesday. This is the fit for the day. Got my shoes on, but let's go and see what is going on for day 2 of training. We just took a break for about 30 minutes, so I just wanted to kind of check in and let y'all know what's going on for this day, this first full day of training. It has been just I'm just in awe right now of the Lord. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna be able to fully process everything until the end, but it's just so cool to see how the Lord has aligned this time. I'm just incredibly grateful for allowing me this opportunity to be here. So many things that I have gotten to learn previously, through perspectives and everything, this is just building off of that, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity that I've had to go through perspectives, because this is like drinking out of a fire hydrant right now, and they've said that, and I'm very grateful that the things that are being taught today are building off those foundations that I've had, because I think I would be even more overwhelmed. It is so cool to see how the Lord is working. We've talked about culture and kind of what it looks like to be involved in other cultures. We have talked about mental health and what it looks like to care for yourself while on the field, because it is lonely and it is a lot on your mental health when trauma comes and things like that. And then we've talked about the finances of it, of what goes on the field, and what I've appreciated so much is that they're willing to ask the hard questions and they're willing to talk about the hard stuff. I was nervous coming in that it was going to kind of be all sunshine and rainbows, and we weren't really going to hit a lot of those things. And so being able to ask the hard questions and being able to talk about those things has been so impactful. Today we're talking about Africa, and so all of our meals have been like African dishes. So we had breakfast, that was that, a snack, and lunch, and it's all been just so wonderful. The people that have been making it have been so heartfelt in trying to find recipes from these regions that we are studying, and I just am just blown away by God's alignment and things like that. One of the speakers that we were supposed to hear from was not able to make it, and so we actually had two missionary ladies from Africa Zoom call us in today. And what's so crazy about that is this is a doctor and one of her assistants that actually I've talked to in the past and had tried to go and visit them and serve with them, and it hadn't worked out just the way things lined up, and now I'm getting to hear from them at this conference. And so it's just so cool to see how the Lord is aligning those things. And they talked about what it looks like to be single women on the field, what it looks like to serve, the hardships and the joys of that. And so just, it's so cool. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to fully process all of this because it's just so much, but that's kind of the check-in for the day, and I'm going to just sit here and meditate on what the Lord's doing and check back in with you after we get done tonight. Day 2 of training is in the books. It was awesome. We got to hear from a couple of missionaries and hear from their experience and things like that, ask them more questions, and then the different missionaries that are already here that we've already heard from, including the one this afternoon. We got to eat with them and learn more about their stories and have those conversations like over dinner. And we actually got done early, which I'm super excited about, just because it's 6:50, which is not super late, but that gives me enough time to actually prepare for bed and get a good night's rest to prepare for tomorrow. So I am super excited for what the Lord is doing, what he's done, and what he's going to do. So I will see you guys for day 3. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are ready to go for the morning. Here is what the outfit is looking like. I've got my little necklace on to zhuzh it up. And of course I have on my Pura Vida because, you know, it's me. But let's do this thing and see what is in store for day 3. All right, recap time. I'll be honest, today was a hard one for me. It's been a really good day, don't get me wrong. It's just been, once again, a lot, but today was a lot of, it felt like highlighting what my weaknesses are. I felt like one thing after another, I was just like, yeah, not good at that, or that, or that. And when that starts to happen, it's very easy for me to start being like, well, am I even supposed to be doing this? Am I even supposed to be here and be even pursuing this as an option? But the Lord reminded me of 1 Corinthians 12, 9 through 10, where Paul is basically being encouraged by Jesus, saying, it is, my strength is made perfect in weakness. And it is when we are weak that we are strong, because it is him that rests in us. And I think that is so beautiful. One of the things that we've been learning about the very first day, we talked about this, and we keep on pounding it into the ground every single day, and it's 5 things that a missionary needs to go to have before they go. And it's to go with a call, to go with a purpose, to go with preparation, to go with a covering, and to go with humility. And I think that in highlighting my weaknesses, it's the Lord reminding me to be humble, reminding me that I can't do any of this on my own, and that's really hard for someone like me who wants to do things on their own, who wants to be independent and wants to prove that I can do it. And so I think today that was part of what he was showing me. And we did have time at break again today. We had some wonderful food for breakfast and lunch that were, and for snack time, that were themed around the Asian culture. That was what we focused on today, as our region was Asia. And so I got to try moon cake for the first time, and for lunch we ate with chopsticks and ate out of the little cartons and things like that. So it just makes it more immersive and things. But we still had those moments, but I really needed to take the time to process this day a lot more than I have the other 2 days. So that's why we got tonight off, so we didn't have supper together or anything, since it's Wednesday night church and things like that. They're preparing for the kids service and church service and everything like that. So we had that time off, but they encouraged us to get out into the community and to explore and to see, what the culture is here, and to kind of do an ethnography of the Brunswick area. And honestly, I didn't want to because I just wanted to be by myself, and I didn't want to be in public. I didn't want to do anything like that. But I really felt like the Lord was like, no, you need to go. And so there's a old times country buffet right in front of where I'm staying, and there's always a ton of people when I pass by, like no matter the time of day that I'm passing by. And so I was like, well, that seems like a great gathering spot that everyone likes to go to. Fun fact though for you, if you don't know, I'm not a big country food eater. Even though I'm from the South, it's not my thing. But I was like, okay, I'll go there, and I need time to process everything. And that's what it was. I was able to kind of observe and see things, and just be me and the Lord, but also be around this area and kind of the people of the area and things like that. But in my time of reflection, in my time of just me and the Lord, I think one of the main things that stood out to me, which was like the very first thing they quoted in devotion time this morning, was this time is not wasted, it's being invested. So that was important for me to hear, because there's a lot of things I could be doing right now. I could be at work where I'm getting texts saying how busy they are, and I feel that kind of guilt of not being there because they're busy and shorthanded because I'm not there. And there is that kind of level of guilt that I feel, but there's also that responsibility that this is taking the next step, and also reminding myself that these weaknesses and these things that are being highlighted this week, I'm so grateful that they're being highlighted right now in the time of preparation before I get out on the field, where there's bound to be many more revealed, but not to be blindsided by them all when I'm away from family, away from friends, away from that community. Now I have the time, I have the advantage and the privilege to be able to develop these weaknesses and to strengthen these areas, knowing in advance the things that are going to be harder for me to deal with and things like that. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I have to remind myself that in this preparation season of however long it may be before I get out onto the field, wherever the Lord sends me, it's not wasted. It's an investment. And it would be unwise of me to look so far into the future that I miss the importance of the preparation, that I miss the importance of what He's doing in this season. So that's kind of partly what I've learned today. It's a lot, and like I've said every other time you've seen my face on this video, that I don't think I'm going to be able to fully process everything, but that's kind of what I've gleaned from my time of reflection today, and I'm sure there is much more to come. And yeah, we'll see you guys for day for tomorrow. Happy Thursday, everybody. Before we get into the little OTD of the day, I want to share a scripture the Lord spoke over me this morning, and it has given me a lot of encouragement, especially after the things we talked about yesterday. So it's in Romans 8:31 through 35, and it says, "What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? It is God who justifies. Who then is the one who condemns? No one. Christ Jesus, who died, more than that, who was raised to life, is at the right hand of God and is also interceding for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword?" Going on the mission field, they've made it very clear, and I already had previous experience, it's not a safe option. It's not the easy option. You have to raise your funds. You have to go into a new culture. You have to be isolated from friends and family, and those things are not easy things, and it's very easy to want to focus on how I'm so incapable of doing any of that by myself. But this reminded me, and I praise the Lord for it, that it's not about me, it's about the God who's in me. And if God is for us, who can be against us? If God has called it, and if he's ordained it, and it's supposed to happen, then guess what? He's going to make a way. Those finances are going to come in. Those friendships, those relationships, those partnerships are going to come in. I'm not going to be alone because I am going with me. And that is the encouragement I needed, and maybe it's encouraging to you today, wherever you are in life. And that is just how I want to start off today, knowing that no matter where I end up, no matter what I'm doing, the I am is with me. Now, let's look at the outfit. I've got my little world earrings on, and then I've got our GMT t-shirt they gave us. It's got "Go and make disciples of all nations." We are going to have a photographer come and take group photos today, and also possibly be interviewed. They didn't guarantee everyone would be, but it's an option, so gotta prepare myself for that. But nonetheless, we are going to be in Europe, so let's see what the Lord has in store for today. We have wrapped on day 4. Is that right? Yeah, day 4. It's crazy. We're almost done. It has just kind of flown by, but today has been just a sweet day in the Lord's presence. A lot of the things that we talked about today were really in alignment with what I felt the Lord speak to me, that I read over y'all today. And I'm so grateful that the Lord works and moves in those ways, that he sees our weaknesses and he is there in the midst of them. And so I'm just very grateful for today. We had speakers all over Europe come or Zoom in if they couldn't come in person, and got to hear from their experiences. The speaker we heard right before we went to eat for lunch was from the Middle East, and now serves in that area, or is about to serve in that area. He's currently based in Germany. And so just the joy that he had for the Lord and the passion that he has for missions was just so contagious. And that really introduced us into a sweet time in the Lord's presence, just praying and worshiping and seeking his face. And so that led into lunch, and then that's presence, that atmosphere carried on throughout the rest of our day. I did end up having the interview, and it was a little intimidating. We had cameras on to do different angles and the lights, and it was a stretching experience. And we talked about being stretched. We've talked about being flexible, and how that is a big key of being in missions, is being flexible and being persistent, not willing to give up, and things like that. So it was a very sweet day in the Lord's presence, and I'm very grateful for this time that the Lord has given me. And we have the afternoon off tonight, and I was going to go home and eat some pizza and read and just hang out by myself. But I remembered that it's Chicken Salad Chick. It's their National Chicken Salad Day, and I missed on Tuesday chicken Chick-fil-A's National Cow Day because I couldn't find a cow costume right now. All my cow shirts are no longer with us, so I couldn't miss the chicken salad chick too. And it just so happens that I passed one right before I got to the hotel. So I'm gonna go eat, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Happy Friday. It is Friday. Let us get on with the show. I've got on a little bit more casual outfit again today, but that's okay. We're having a good time. Today is going to be in Latin America, and it will be our last full day of classes, and tomorrow will be more of just an intentional time of prayer and worship. We'll go into a little bit of that tonight, but today will be the final class day. So let's see what we're going to learn today. Wow, what a day. Latin America was one for the books. We heard from about 10-15 of the missionaries that are serving in Latin America and across the world from Latin America on a panel meeting, and it was just amazing to hear the testimonies of what the Lord is doing in and through Latin America. And we actually got to hear from the current GMT Phase 2 missionaries that are serving in Mexico. They came in on Zoom, and it was just an awesome time to hear their experience, as well as kind of what to expect for our experience if we choose to go on to Phase 2. It was just such a beautiful day today. We had some amazing food, of course. Latin America never disappoints with that. I tried a tamale for the first time, and I gave horchata another try. I'm still just not a cinnamon fan, but I tried it, and we just had a great time in fellowship together. We had a panel meeting of the missionaries that we've gotten to talk to throughout the week, and some new ones as well, and just asked honest questions and kind of gave case studies of kind of things to maybe wonder what would happen on the field. And they gave really good answers, but also said, let the Spirit lead as He gives direction and things. So after we had supper, we went into a time of kind of spiritual retreat, which we will continue on into tomorrow. But tonight they talked about bitterness versus forgiveness, and we wrote down people, I wrote down names on a piece of paper that we might have unforgiveness towards in our heart, and that we needed to forgive, and we prayed over those. And then at the end we went outside, and it was too windy, so we came inside, and the paper they gave us was actually flash paper, so they put it on fire and it just disappeared. And it was so freeing to see that we can pray over it and we can release it to God, but sometimes we still like to keep that list of wrongs that people have have done to us. There we go. And to be able to say, no, I give this to the Lord, and to watch it burn and watch it disappear with no ashes, nothing to remind us, was just so freeing. And then one of the GMT candidates that are here with me that I met this week, she is just so amazing, and she asked me if I wanted to go to the beach, and it was already like 8:30, but I just said yes, because when am I going to have an opportunity like this again? So we went to Jekyll Island and just walked and talked and shared what the Lord was showing us this week and how He was moving, and just shared our life stories and things like that. And it was just so encouraging to be able to just have honest, godly communication. And we saw some deer. That was pretty cool. There was like 6, and then we walked around and came back through again, and there was 8. So they were just munching on some Jekyll Island grass, I guess. But it is like 10:40 now, and I've got to do this again tomorrow and drive 6.5 hours. So I am calling it a night, and I will see y'all for the finale tomorrow. Happy Saturday. It is the final day of GMT. It is insane to think about how quickly this time has passed. daily it felt like a week, but to think about the week, it has felt like a day. So I'm so excited to see what the Lord does today. And here is what the fit is looking like. I've got my little jumpsuit on, Converse. I am so comfortable because as soon as I get done at GMT, we're heading back home the 6.5 hour drive. So let's see what the Lord got in store for today.
And that is a wrap on GMT Phase 1. I am just in such awe of how the Lord works. Today was such a sweet time. I know I said that yesterday and probably every other day before, but it's just, this whole week has been so intentional, and I applaud and recognize the work of the Church of God World Missions team and Dr. John Harris and the global missions training team as a whole, of the intention that they've put behind this week and how they have poured into us and then also encouraged us to pour out to others. And so just the intentionality is so significant. Today we heard from a few more missionaries and from Dr. John himself, and then we also had a time of foot washing, but we didn't have water and soap and everything like that. We had little gloves that said "Serve like Jesus" that we kind of wiped the feet of our fellow candidates and things, and we spoke over them and prayed over them. And then we had a time of commissioning after we had taken communion. And so it was just a beautiful time in the Lord's presence and fellowship with one another. And I just am so beyond grateful for this time. The way the Lord has established my steps and prepared me for this time, I'm just in awe of him. You know, when you're in a waiting season, it's very easy to get frustrated about wanting to be there already. You have a call in your life and you know you want to do this, and sometimes I just want to rush ahead. But I love God's intentionality with me of, previously Church of God said, hey, you have to be 23 or older or married to be in missions. And so I waited until I was 23 to pursue missions with them. And as soon as I start pursuing it again, guess what? Now there's a training in place. Now there is actual help and guidance and mentorship that wasn't there previously if I had tried to pursue it any time before that. And not only that, just the things that I've gone through in that waiting season, the experience at jobs and the friendships and the heartbreaks and all of those things. Romans 8:28 says God works all things together for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And I see that even in the waiting, there is purpose and that it's God's timing. And I praise the Lord for what he's done this week. And I'm so excited to see what he's going to do for the future of world missions as a whole, and also what he's going to do in my life and how this is all going to play out. So I am so grateful that you joined me today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.